everyone, happy Tuesday. This is Make It Personal. I'm Pastor Terrell. This week I'm talking about giving, and I pray that I did not lose some of you yesterday as soon as I mentioned the word money. The devil has done a great job in making sure that once any preacher or church talks about money, people switch off their brains. And you need to recognize this is a spiritual matter, because the devil doesn't want us to give. The devil wants us to hoard. The devil wants us to be selfish. But the Christian heart needs to be a generous heart, giving where God says give, and giving abundantly, and giving, not worrying about what that seed is going to do. And that is crucial. Not worrying about where you're going to give. Once you give, you've done the will of God. It is in His hands. You have no say over that. Once you give a gift to somebody, you don't get to decide what they do with it. Let's read in Luke chapter 20, and I'm going to start at the end of chapter 20 and go into chapter 21. And there's another important lesson here. You know, these numbers and chapter breaks were added into the Bible, just about 500 to 900 years after the Bible was written. And it is for our benefit, for easy reference, but sometimes a chapter break can interrupt a thought God was on, and if you stop reading it, you can miss out what He's going to say. So I'm going to read starting in Luke chapter 21, verse 46. Verse 45. And while all the people were listening, Jesus said to the disciples, I love that right away. While all the people were listening, Jesus addresses His disciples. So He knew full well everyone was listening to Him, but He was teaching His people. Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and long respectful greetings in the marketplaces, and sit in the chief seats in the synagogues and in places of honor at banquets, who devour widows' houses, for appearance's sake offer long prayers. These will receive greater condemnation. And while He looked up, He saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury. And He saw a poor widow putting in 2 small copper coins. And He said to them, Truly I say to all of you, this poor widow put in more than all of them. For they all put out of their surplus, but she out of her poverty put in all she had to live on. This extends far beyond the monetary value. First of all, don't get trapped in the routine of only giving if there's a surplus at the end of the month. If you decide in your heart, and it says this in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, you won't be judged on how much you give. You will be judged on what you have decided to give and if you followed through. If you decide in your heart that I am going to tithe, I am going to give, and if you make that a firm foundation in your life, that's what you're going to be judged on. Not how much, not a percentage. The 10%, yes, that is an Old Testament law. I consider that a good foundation to give 10%. That's a personal belief though. The New Testament says give on what you decide in your heart, and that's what you'll be judged on. See, this widow, she was going to give. And I have it in my mind, she would have given a lot more if she could have afforded more, but she had nothing. The rich people, they just gave out of what was extra, and it was not a sacrifice to them, it was not a hardship for them, and nothing they gave really affected their life. But this widow gave to God, knowing He is my source, He is my provision, He will take care of me because I am obedient to God. So do not get trapped into the routine of only giving when there's money at the end of the month. Commit your heart to God's service and give what you decide in your heart. And don't let that waver based on month to month. God bless you.